Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 637th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the Clown Prince of Dancing, Travis Snail. I'm joined by...
What am I doing here? Kirkland Bouncer.
Hey, I'm Dr. Payne, Dylan Muss.
The $20, Taylor Field.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you probably wouldn't guess by the nicknames, but luckily you probably saw that episode pop up in your feed and, oh man, a GV classic, because here we are. Here we are talking about Venom once again. We've been on quite the road with Venom and the Sony movies. You can go back. We reviewed every one of these suckers, and these three gentlemen will review Craven in December. I hope still. That I'm excited. I'm excited December 13th or 14th when I'm not here to get that notification. And I might even just listen to the full episode. I don't even care. I don't even know if I'll stop at the non-spoilers. So these are always an event in a different way, I think, for the Geekverse, because this is the most. I'm gonna start keeping track now. I had 4 people literally told me I'm not seeing the movie, but I can't wait for your review. I think, and that's just the start of this week. I feel like we get every once in a while oh yeah, we'll skip that. I feel like there's maybe one other movie in our 10 years that people are yeah, we're just gonna listen to the review, but definitely, and I could see by the theaters because I counted, Taylor, we had 26 people in the theater, so it went up from the 3 originally, but we had 26. Yeah, not too.
One for every letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, it looked pretty empty, and we had some fucker beside us that oh man, mini rant before we get in the actual review here. Our row is pretty much empty. It's me and Taylor in the middle of row I. At the very end, so 10 seats over, there's 2 guys. That's completely fine. On our right side, there's no one there, but then someone bought a ticket right beside me. So it goes Taylor, me, and that guy. And then I said to Taylor, there's no way I'm fucking sitting there. So I sat beside Taylor, and he gave me and Taylor the death look, he was mad that I didn't sit beside him. And I'm unless someone comes for I-12, I'm not doing that. I've said this on
Maybe
many
he was
reviews.
a fan.
Well, then he should have said something. I've said on so many reviews, my mind is not wired that way. I don't fucking get it. There's a bunch of empty seats. There's a whole row in front of us, Taylor, that was empty. He could have sat by himself there. The fact that he chose these 2 guys are just sitting beside each other, I'm going to sit right there. Fucking weird. Oh, Sam, that's number 5. Sorry, probably not seeing the movie, but looking forward to listening. And that's what I was going to say where I just feel that's the Venom-ness of it all. I'm going to go first here just because I'm talking about the theater experience where you look at Venom 1, me, Kirkland, and Dylan, we saw it together. I remember the whole theater. It was a packed theater, and I remember people were laughing, had a good time. We've talked about this many times where people clapped at the end of that, right? Now, the Carnage one, that was tough because that was COVID, so not as many people were going, but definitely, I remember being more full for that than this. But to compare, so take out that one because COVID, to compare Venom 1 and Venom 3, it's just, Taylor, we had 4 people behind us that were laughing, but I think those were the only people consistently laughing throughout the whole movie. It was, at times, it felt like I was up there watching a comic bomb, and it's so funny. it's so funny that they asked Tom Hardy, and he's like, do you see yourself going past this in the media, not in the movie? He didn't break the fourth wall or anything. Do you see another Venom yet? Because he had said he's done. And he's like, no, I've left everything out there. And that's how I feel about this. This is fun, but at the same time, after this movie, I was I don't think I could do this again. If there's a team up, if he's in Spider-Man 4, if he's in Secret Wars, sure, talk to me then. But I legitimately just feel I've seen all these comic book movies. And I've said, I'm going to keep seeing them. But this came to a point where I multiple times I'm tapping out. I didn't pull up my phone. I didn't leave. I thought, thank God I had some popcorn. But it's just, this was a really, really tough watch for me. Both in the sense of it's still the jokes that I don't like. It's still the Venom I don't like. But then just as I feel this is the worst as far as stakes and character motivations. They set up this huge MacGuffin about this thing's really important. We can't let this happen. And then they let this happen to have a fucking dance scene, which you've seen in the trailers. But it's it's not just a dance scene. It's a dance scene that would has terrible implications towards multiple characters. But it's just no. We're just gonna do it, and it's funny because we have stuff I know people are gonna bring up, Deadpool has dance scenes and She-Hulk, but it's no, man, this is, they set something up and they just spin your face, and that's everything. All these characters, I hate seeing Chiwetel Ejiofor in here, it's just tough, but yeah, this was bad. For me, it's the worst of them. It's very difficult. My last non-spoilers thoughts is, it's well, one, it's impressive that Sony gave us this and Madam Web in the same year. Arguably two of the worst comic movies ever, same year. So congrats to them. But it's very tough where even Madam Web, I said, I don't even know if that's a worse comic book movie because we've got Catwoman, we got Steel, we got Howard the Duck. Like, we reviewed many of those. And, like, even the Fantastic Four when we did on our Retro for 94. It's like, there's movies, like, technically that are worse. But I could see people make the case for it. This, I don't know if I can make the case again for it being top 10 for, like, on a critical level. But for me personally, I think it's like Suicide Squad, where, oh, Margot Robbie's great and there's some choices here and, you know, it's not the worst ever. But for me, it's like, that's for not just the Joker but other things, that's a bottom 10 comic movie. I think this is here where Madam Web, if you had to put a gun to my head and ask me what would I rather watch again and give me $1 million, I choose Madam Web, because at least for me it's like bad good, where this is just like depressing bad, especially that dance scene. That dance scene, I felt at all-time low. I can't wait to talk to Spoilers and see how Kirkland was feeling about it, because like I saw in the trailers, we knew it was coming, but they somehow made it even worse. And it just, yeah, so for me, this might be, I'm gonna have to rethink maybe my time off. I'll make a couple lists here, but for my personal one, if it's not on the bottom or the bottom 10, it's very close. So yeah, this was a very painful experience, and I wish I was doing many other things. Thank God for popcorn, because that really got me through this one. So
God
I
damn.
digress. So oh, and look, Sam says, okay, definitely not seeing it now after that glowing wrap up. Well, you know.
Well, wait to see what everyone thinks. I mean.
Exactly. Maybe these guys loved it. Return to form.
Man, you said thank God for popcorn. Thank God for friends, because without my two friends, Tyler and Elisa, I would have had to see this movie alone, and that would have been an awful experience. I saw Venom 2 alone, and I'm still kind of scarred from that one.
Your ears.
Haven't revisited that movie since, and it's funny you should bring up that dancing scene, because when we were leaving in the car, Tyler's like, you know, when in the dancing scene, I looked over to you, and like my head was just in my hands. I was rubbing my eyes. I thought I was prepared from the trailer, but to actually get the full length in the movie, yeah, that was something else. I guess I'm talking now. I'll just keep going. Yeah, this one, I don't want to say it hurt me, because like I was pretty set for like what to expect just coming off of Venom 2. Trailers weren't doing anything for me. Like, I was expecting bottom barrel. But it still managed to surprise me with how bad I think it was in certain aspects. All of the humor that was like forced, like all of the jokes that they were going for, didn't hit for me. All of my laughs were mostly just I couldn't believe with what I was seeing. The very last sequence of this movie, there was a song choice, and I could not stop laughing. It was just so strange to me.
It was.
I don't want to say anything more, until we get to spoilers, but it was just such a weird song choice for me. Yeah, this was pretty bad. There was multiple plot points that we were kind of introduced to in this movie, and I felt like they just weren't answered. I felt like the movie just kind of ended, and that's that. And now we're just, that's just where we are now. It was super strange. Yeah, I felt like there was points in this movie that I felt like I wanted to look at my watch and be like how much time is left, and then I blinked and it was just over. So I don't know if it was just like a fever dream type experience.
That's nice. Okay.
That, yeah, like it still felt not too dragging along. I think it's maybe because I was expecting us to actually get some of these plot points answered or like touched upon, and we didn't get that. It just kind of ended and rolled credits, and yeah, it was pretty awful. I'm pretty disappointed. This is how we're we're ending off. Just Tom Hardy's Venom journey, but
it's not like it started great,
yeah,
it's like,
that's the thing. Maybe I was
just
I tempered my expectations, but maybe I was still open to some surprises, and the surprises I got weren't good. But yeah, there's definitely some things I'm excited to talk to you guys about, and overall, I'm not loving this movie. Don't want to revisit it. Between Madam Web and this, it's a tough pill.
Yeah. What about Joker 2 or this? Dalton asks in the chat.
Ooh, Joker 2. I would pick Joker 2.
Joker 2 by a fucking millennia.
Yeah.
Like, I like, if you told me you can either watch the Venom trilogy or Joker 2 3 times, I will pick Joker 2 3 times. Like, there's at least...
I passed Joker 2. That's
yeah, me too. There's
review.
at least like great cinematography, great acting. There's not... Even like Corinne said, this song choice, it's like somebody watched Deadpool and Wolverine like, we can do that. We have 3 movies. And it's like, no, man, you can't do it. I will lead to Taylor now. So I'll leave Dylan last because Taylor, you've seen Joker too, so you can answer that as well. Joker, if you had to watch, you've seen both movies now. Let's say, January rolls around. For some reason, Madison wants to watch these 2. What are you convincing her to watch again?
Oh, I'd probably say
Big
Joker
Short.
2.
The Big Short.
Yeah.
Joker 2. There you go. We're 3 for 3 for the Joker 2 versus Venom.
I haven't seen Joker 2, but I'd rather go see that.
Trust me, there's more you could find there. Yeah.
Yeah, so this it's my first no, actually not my first Venom experience in theater, because I saw Venom 2 in theaters after I saw Venom 1 in theaters after you guys had reviewed it, because I wasn't on that review, wasn't
right.
on the second one either, that review. So yeah, well, this is definitely by far not a great movie.
By far not.
That's
a great-
Taylor's
by
nicest
far-
way of saying it.
Yeah.
Other than one specific character, which I'll leave Taylor up, Taylor was not laughing throughout the movie. I was surprised. I could feel Taylor shuffling in his chairs a couple times, like, oh, even Taylor's met his rope there. But I think he found
Yeah.
some high spots.
There was a couple high spots. Like, I think that the humor, like you said, the humor, it was not working for me. Even, this isn't a spoiler, but just at the very, very start of this movie, they were trying to do like this joke, and it just was not working. It was not my kind of humor, and so
You talking about the bar?
Yeah. So it just wasn't working. And that, like, that being said, I think that if this movie came out a few years ago, like, probably, I would say, like, I'll go specific, 6 to 7 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, if we're going double digits, I
Even
think this would
100.
do.
Let's just get crazy.
100. I think this would do a lot better, because the way that this movie was done, like with its story and with its action, to me it felt like it was like a 2011 to 2015 styled superhero movie.
Well, that's why Venom 1 worked for you. That came out 6 years
There
ago.
you go.
You know?
Yeah. But that being said, like, I did enjoy the fight scenes, and there's like the third act kind of like fight and everything like that. I actually really enjoyed it, and I was really engaged with it. I thought, this is actually pretty cool. I'm really, really digging this. There's a lot of different like perspectives and stuff going on. But again, the writing and the story is what really just kind of, it's not great, and there's just a lot of plot holes, and when you're trying to keep up with what's going on, it's like, well, this doesn't really make sense. Why is this character deciding to do this when this and so forth? And so it really kind of pulls it apart. But I think if you can overlook all that and just take it for what it is, I don't know, you might not still enjoy it, but at least you can still kind of sit back and just absorb just the fun action and whatnot. So,
Like, am I wrong saying, Taylor, that at some point you will YouTube just the third act battle?
oh, I absolutely will. Absolutely.
That was.
absolutely.
I
'Cause
was watching
pretty
that.
cool.
That was like Iron Man 2 coded. I'm like, oh, Taylor's gonna love this. Like when Iron Man and War Machine face off against a bunch of different.
I would equate it like Iron Man 3 when like
Okay.
Tony's like Iron Legion,
Yeah.
whatever
Okay.
you call them. Yeah.
Fire guy stuff, yeah.
Fire, yeah.
Extremis.
Extremis.
Yeah.
Extremis.
We got one of those in this
Come on,
movie, pretty
yeah.
much. and they didn't do anything cool with him. He just looked like fire. It's okay.
This guy
Don't
bothering you?
must.
Yeah, so, here's the Venom 1. I did have a good time at the theater. It was a fun time watching it with you guys and just laughing at the insanity of it. Not one I've ever rewatched nor thought about, and I think my memory of it is greatly faded since then as well. And I still, to this day, have not seen the second one. I even planned to do the littlest of homework and watch a YouTube 5-minute recap. I didn't get around to it. So if you want to call me a bad podcast or give me 1-star review, go for it. But I've not seen Venom 2 yet, and I'm here jumping into third one. I don't feel like I missed anything story-wise. I feel like I understood everything that was going on. So for what it's worth, I'll put that out there. This is a weird one because, looking at it, like the writer-director is the same person, so kind of connection there. And then Tom Hardy's listed as a writer on this as well, and obviously he's the star. So between those two, like, kind of the creative power from the outside, at least from me sitting here in my podcast chair, seems like the creative duo that kind of really made this thing happen.
The brain trust.
And I feel like they achieved exactly what they wanted to. I feel like they made the exact movie they wanted to. They're like, hey, this is the third Venom outing. Let's get some crazy scenes in there. Let's get some viral dancing scenes. Let's do some crazy horse stunts. Let's have some huge battles. Let's have some like emotional beats between the characters. And then I also I don't know what they were really playing with some of these side characters, because I think that's where the biggest mess is. I really don't even have that many issues with story wise in terms of what Eddie Brock is how he's acting in this and how he's working with Venom. It's more the side characters that make either so little sense, they're not given enough, or it's just like the family stuff. I'll just say that in the non-spoiler way, the family stuff. Get it off my screen, please. it is atrocious. So yeah, I think they achieved exactly what they wanted to, but it's just absolutely 0% what I want out of a movie. So I am with you guys that I did not enjoy this one at all. I think that the Madam Web comparison is funny because that movie is so bad it's good in a way, right? Like you're watching it, you're making fun of it, you're laughing at it. The dubbing is off on the voices sometimes, and it's like this is just such a train wreck, and it's kind of a fun theater experience once, to watch it one time. That was not the case here. I did have one small laugh, so I'll give the movie that. It got me chuckling at one moment, but that was it. I did not like the fights in this. I thought they were too goopy and confusing and didn't really. There's CGI. Black
the old
tar
cement mixer, the old cement mixer battle.
It was a bit too messy, which is what it definitely is. But yeah, it didn't really work for me there. So yeah, and I think that maybe the weirdest thing about this movie for me is just like the main plot that is occurring here, and like Eddie Brock's journey. There's like nothing. Like he's just going to a place for no reason, and then things occur around him. But there's like nothing happening. It's really odd. It's like what they chose to do, and in terms of like how disconnected the villain seems to be from what his journey is. It's just an odd choice, odd movie. So yeah, I did not enjoy this one, and unfortunately, I didn't really have fun with how bad it was either. So it was just bad. I was there alone. The person next to me laughing up a storm. They were singing along to a song in the credits, so they were eating it up, and they popped off a little bit when the post credit scene popped up. So maybe I got a little bit of enjoyment out of their enjoyment, but probably not. So yeah, I'm excited to break it down with you guys, but this was not a good time to theater. You know what? I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go see Venom 2. I'm just going to leave that off my record. I will never have watched it.
Literally 2 minutes ago, I'm going to finish it. Now you're like, you know what? No, I've decided.
I wanted to finish it before this, but now that I've seen this, what is it all for?
No.
There's no reason to.
No, unless patrons, if you want to have your way, But
$15, I'll do it. Yeah.
I don't need to go back there either. There's other choices to do there, but yeah, we're about to get into spoilers. So before we do that, just want to remind everybody that in about, 8-9 days, whenever this comes out, Extra Life is just around the corner. November 2nd at 9 a.m. PST is when we start. We're going to be staying up for a whole 24 hours. This is our 8th annual charity stream. We got 8 events. We got lots of stuff. We got chess going on. We got trivia. We got charades. We got some college football, and then just a string of other games. We got Twisters and Jenga, which I meant to ask Kirkland in the fourth wall. Did you ever find that Twisters?
Never found it.
Okay, so
I think it's just called Twister, like singular, right?
Well,
You're thinking of the movie.
That's
we're gonna play
sequel
2 at the
with
same
Glenn Powell.
time.
I'm bringing
Yeah,
Glenn
yeah.
Powell.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so I'll have to look into the Twister board. But yeah, we do a bunch of stuff to raise funds for BC Children's Hospital, our local hospital here in not local, but it's all strung together, and all that money goes towards the kids and the families in need. So we appreciate it as usual. It's tax deductible, so you don't got to worry about that. And if you can't, that's okay. Just on the day, come like the video, share the video, tell other people. I just said this last cast where I think almost every Extra Life we've had someone donate. We're like, do you know that person? Do you know that person? And we never do. And we never find out. So that's why maybe if you can't, other people can. And yeah, it's a fun time. So we'd very much appreciate it. I'm wearing the shirt right now. If you want to get the GeekVerse X-Men 97 themed shirt, all the funds goes towards the BC Children's Hospital there as well. So yeah, we would appreciate you just to come join. And yeah, anything we raise goes there. So we will be right back after this with spoilers. And we're back. So let's start at the beginning there. Okay. Well, there's two things I want to start with so we talked about this when we got the trailer, right? Where they showed, okay, how's the guy from No Way Home in this, right? Because he's in the bartender, Taylor's favorite character. How's the bartender in this? Well, they just pretty much explained that Eddie Brock traveled. He got sucked through a portal. I know there's like a real beginning with the villain. I'm going to skip that for a second, but he travels through a portal to, I guess, where that guy in his universe is at the bar. So it's just like his what do they call him in Loki and everything? Variant, his variant, right? So that's how they got that cool trailer shot to show, oh, it's connected. I was even surprised because they were doing the whole bit again where he's asking about Thanos and asking about this. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys still want to be so connected. But yeah, we got that explained. That bar guy, we'll revisit him later, but he got taken out for just giving some information. By True Edge 4. But anyways, what I was going to say, Dylan, they did explain why he wanted to go to New York. There were two reasons. One, Venom wanted to see the Statue of Liberty. But two, I didn't get the exact line verbiage, but he inferred that there's like someone there that could help clear his name.
I missed that line, I guess.
You mean the judge that he's got dirt on?
Yeah, he has dirt on somebody that can clear his name. Yeah, so that's that's
about that.
yeah,
That's
that's why he's going to New York so they can clear Eddie Brock's name from murdering. That's the only thing from Carnage, Dylan, you wouldn't have got, is that guy, the detective, was just looking into Eddie and Carnage the whole movie. He gets killed. A symbiote attaches to him.
Mulligan, that guy you're talking
Yeah,
about?
that guy. So that's like the only connective, like, to shoot a number two. And they, in the media, it says that he killed him by like throwing him off a bit, like very gruesome death. Where I love at the end, they're like, "Yeah, your record's a sponge." It's like, wouldn't
Oh
people
my
still have
God.
questions if they like Google like Eddie Brock and like killed detective by plunging him through like metal rods? But all stricken, we'll get there. But that's why they want to get to New York, a Statue of Liberty, and to clear his name, which I thought, all
Is that what they
right.
said? I thought it was just to go there, just to hide.
No,
'Cause
they're like Taylor said, the judge.
But I
He's
feel like
dirt
once
on
the
judge.
alien shows up and Venom is aware that Null is after him, like, are they even doing that anymore? Like, trying to get the judge thing done? Because I feel like they have bigger issues at that point that I don't think they really care about his name.
They're still
being
going to New
cleared.
York though, right? Like every time they mention, oh, we got to get to New York. We got to go to New York, the Big Apple. Like they're
I asked
still
this
going
thing.
there.
I asked this to Tyler after the movie because I just feel like Eddie Brock's whole existence is just an anomaly to me. Like, what does he do if there is no Xeno whatever coming for him? Like, he's just wandering the planet barefoot and just. Like,
Well, he's
like
gonna go
not-
clear his name. That's what he's going.
I
to do.
know, but I
Do you
guess
mean like at the
so,
end of the
but,
movie? Like now that he's
let's say the end of
cleared?
Venom 2. Like he's just hiding somewhere. Like I just don't understand this character.
Well,
If there isn't like a threat on his life, I just he just seems to be floating through existence like a schizophrenic with Venom in his mind, just like whispering sweet whatevers into his brain. Like it's a very odd existence I think he has.
not that it is all existence, and not that I love to defend this, but they did establish in this movie that he's only been together with them for a year. So when we get our ending
Oh, I
montage,
forgot
it's
about
like
that. Yeah.
Tom Hardy looked like almost a decade younger, but it's like, man, he aged a lot in a year. But no, remember when Carnage 2 ends, he gets put in the MCU. So that's why it's like you would never pick up with him being normal because there's always something for Eddie. Like, the
Yeah.
only time it's normal is when Venom 1 ends and they're gonna like he's gonna.
So I guess
figure
the
out-
ending of Venom 2 into this is like immediate then.
Yes.
Right.
Well, you
So
still
that
have to,
year happens between Venom 1 and 2 essentially.
Well, yeah,
that
and
what
you
you're
still
saying?
have to watch No Way Home because if you just watch this trilogy, Venom gets sucked into a. I guess no, they answer it, but Venom gets sucked into a portal. He goes to a bar and then he gets sucked out. If you never watched No Way Home, he just like, why did he go travel multiverses? Oh, just to talk to a bar guy and ask him about an alien and stuff. So, but yeah, he's that's. I want to go to the family because I don't want to forget this point because I'm like, oh, in the review I'm going to forget this because Dylan, you for that you did on for the enjoy the family scenes. I did
Me
not
neither.
as I did not as well except for Ralph Ifans. I think he did a great job playing his Harry Potter character again, just doing all that shtick of like earthy and like I think he had great comedic timing and he carried the third act on his back with some of that stuff, but. It was very odd. I never understood because Kirk and this is where I'm tying together. Kirk and you asked like, oh, what would he do now? Like, what's the day in the life of Eddie Brock? For some reason, he gets in the van. They're gonna drop him off as Vegas because it's close, and he also thinks like, even in this little New Mexico city, cameras see him right away. So he thinks in Vegas, one of the biggest, like there's gonna be video cameras everywhere. He's gonna hide. I digress. This whole movie does not care about. They multiple times him and Venom be like, "Oh, we gotta hide." They're just out in the open doing stuff.
And their end goal is New York, where
New
there's
York.
I would imagine
Bigger
even more
city.
surveillance.
Yeah.
And they're nowhere near that by the end. Also, quick note, when he
We're
gets
gonna be
filmed,
all over in this review.
he gets filmed by a camera and he walks out of the bar in Mexico.
Yeah.
Which is I swear it is the exact same stock image shot of the camera that is in Vegas. Like they couldn't
100%.
even
I
get
think it
two
might be.
different stock image shots for different cameras. I was like, that makes no sense at all.
100%. I thought the exact same thing.
But anyway, so the back to this family. He's sitting there, right? And they're playing this scene other than the four people behind us just fucking dying in front of everybody. It's the scene they're singing. Oh my God. They're singing Space Odyssey by David Bowie. Or Oddity, sorry. They're singing, and the whole scene, Eddie Brock hates his family. He's annoyed. They're doing the whole Step Brothers thing, right? Of ha ha ha, ha. And like they're all singing. They have the one person like hate them, right? And then all of a sudden, like Venom goes, "I wish we had this," and it's like, and then literally in 5 seconds, and he looks around and he's like, "Oh yeah, this would be nice." It's like, no, like it's just like 101 movie writing where you have that scene happen and maybe it's a little cheesy, but then you do have him join in and you realize like, yeah, I would like this. He shows no signs of wanting a family, liking these people, like, oh, wanting kids until Venom's like, wouldn't it be great if you had this? And he's like, yeah. And then they just switch the dynamic where he's cuddling with his kid, he's bonding with his dad. But it's like at no point in these movies did I ever feel like, oh, Eddie's like, he wants a family. I feel like that car scene, they're trying their best to invoke Logan, where it's like Logan's won all these things in X-Men, and here's his chance to finally get them. And Venom, like Kurgan said, we've never got any of that. He's always just on the run doing stuff. So when they tried to shoehorn, like, he wants a family, I was like, oh boy, like this is like, I would take out all, even though I like Rise, I'd take out all the family stuff. Just chop it, edit, gone, you know?
I'm completely in agreement with you. I did not need to have the family in here. I I completely agree with you too on just like trying to get some sentimental attachment to like the idea of being a father, and it was just a weird even line drop of like you could be a dad, Eddie. Like
dad.
it's
Would
like,
he?
no, he can't. He's a fucking terror. Like he's so irresponsible. He was barely holding on to his relationship with Michelle Williams in the first film.
Yeah.
But I will say that was actually one of the hardest parts I laughed at in the movie, because the family is just singing along, and he has two lines that just completely got me. The first one was just shoot me now, and then the second one was like, what, like, why am I even here? And I just laughed so hard because I'm like,
Those
this
are the
is
two
literally
laughs that they got out of me too, Kirk.
Yeah.
The two
I'm like-
laughs. Yeah.
I'm like, this is my theater experience. I'm
Yeah.
like, shoot me now. And what the fuck am I doing here? Like, just experiencing this movie. There, he's experiencing a song performance, and I'm in.
And he hates them. He absolutely hates them.
It was like a
scene-
fourth wall breaking moment for me. I was just laughing so hard at myself.
I find it so funny because I feel like sometimes when you're watching this, you forget that Tom Hardy is a good actor, and in that sequence, I was like, he's acting really well that he is so annoyed by this sequence. But yeah, I guess the purpose of that whole dynamic is really just to like enforce how Eddie and Venom have become this family dynamic, and how bad he feels at the end of the movie that they've been like torn apart from each other, I guess. So perhaps that was part of it, but I think it was just trying to throw some earnestness in there. Of course, you got to have the shot near the end when the boy gets like launched off the watchtower, and of course he jumps off the ledge and saves the whole family, I guess.
That moment when the big explosion, the kids in the backseat, he's like, Eddie, he's bawling his eyes out for a guy that like was in his car for an hour or two.
Homeless
you know?
man, probably reeked.
Yeah.
I feel like none of them reacted to him launching the food either. Like they didn't seem to care. Like, this guy seems unhinged that we offered him a meal and he just threw it into the back, and we offered him a ride and everything. I feel like they never commented on that.
I did laugh the moment though when he comes out of the woods and you just have Rise there at the barbecue. Hello, friendo. Just yeah, his performance. I didn't love the family, but I can definitely appreciate his performance at least as that character.
Mm-hmm. I was laughing. I was just looking on IMDb. The boy, the child, his real name is Dash McCloud. Isn't that just the craziest name?
It's an
you've ever
Incredibles
heard?
name.
That's an Incredibles like Star Fox hybrid name over here. It's so sick. But yeah, I the other thing too, and this is maybe jumping to the end, so we don't have to go all the way there. But just when the family goes to Area 51. And I'm like, this place should be guarded so heavily, but like they don't see a giant alien coming in. The family just goes through a little crack in the glass there. Of course, they also like leave the car on too, like the lights are on. Like, this is, if you guys have to make a quick getaway, like this battery is gonna be dead here. But that whole sequence is just like so cheesy to me that they would go in there and they're like, oh, let's climb this tower for a better look. Like,
Oh
what are you
my God,
talking
yeah.
about? Like, you can see everything from ground level here.
When he's
it
up
was
there,
just
he's
so
like, everything's
goofy.
broken. Just
Yeah.
like super, super strange. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. As soon as he like goes through the fence, I just like leaned over to Tyler. I'm like, family found shot dead,
Mhm.
invading military base. Like,
Yeah.
how is this a good idea? And also, since we're talking about him, this has got to be the world's worst father ever. Like he
Yes.
Absolutely.
expunged the entire family savings to just take his whole family in this van to go to Area 51 to try and see an alien. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Pick up a scary hitchhiker and put him in the back seat next to his son. Man, when the dad comes out with the fucking rocket launcher and shoots
Oh,
the
God.
beast from like 3 feet away, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry about that." The person next to me, first of all, just started cackling. They loved that joke, but I was like, "This is the dumbest thing ever." I absolutely hate it.
He saved
Hey.
Eddie's life, you know.
And then he just goes back to the van and wanders off. It's like, could
Yeah,
this
and
not
then-
have been a military man or anyone
Yeah.
else? Like, why did that have to use
There's so many little things that just are. I wish they were funny, but they're just funny to make fun of. But when he goes back to the van, and the van is like they're already driving, like they're trying to make that quick getaway that a lot of action movies have. Like, you got to get the car running, but it's going so slow, and it's like, why are you even driving? Just wait for him to get to the van. They had so much time to
yeah.
leave. Oh, so goofy.
Agreed.
Taylor, you haven't said anything on the family.
Yeah, the family was interesting. Getting Martin's character, he was definitely the highlight for me. There's some stuff like Dylan, you mentioned the bazooka rocket launcher scene. That was unhinged, and I didn't really need that. But everything with the barbecue and just the things that he was saying, like when he's up on the watchtower, and then all the symbiotes pop out of the ground, and what did he say? He's just like, "What the fuck?" Like he was just absolutely
Yeah, they gave
hilarious.
him they gave him the F bomb. He said motherfucker. I was surprised out of
Motherfucker.
out
So
of anybody.
unsatisfying.
He got the F bomb.
I
I was
thought for
actually
sure Venom was gonna
satisfied
get
by
it.
it. I liked Martin. I'm with Taylor there. I liked Martin isolated. I liked
Like
him.
when
so.
he was up there too, and like Eddie's on the ground, and Martin's like, "Eddie," and he waves his hand over his face. It's Martin. Like
Martin and family.
yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So there was humor from him that I really liked, but again, very limited humor. The scene in the van, it's weird because like some of the stuff definitely like I could get on board with, but then other things like no, they're forcing it, but it was weird. Like it was a good scene, but it was weird because it didn't really fit. Like you have Eddie just like lying to the kid saying aliens aren't real, and the kid's just scared, and the kid lays on him. Like, this is a really good scene, but it doesn't fit at all with everything that we've gotten. It's just feels like they have their movie, their narrative, and they just chopped up a section of it, took it out, and just chopped this in from another movie or something like that. It just was weird. So yeah, that's that. And I do appreciate though the fact that when they were trying to escape, and this is when the lady scientist pulls up in her truck, randomly just pulls up to get this family out of there. They all get in the truck. And then when they're all in the back of the truck, I can't remember what it was. Something exploded, and they all get out of the truck and go underneath the truck for about 10 seconds. Then they all climb back into the truck and then drive away. The truck didn't just fucking drive when they all got in the first time. The truck just sat there. I don't understand what was going on, but if you were to rewatch that scene, it's weirdly paced. It's not set up in a cohesive manner, I guess.
I feel like it
You
happened a lot in this movie.
Yeah, you gotta be on your toes though when you're fighting a bunch of symbiotes and everything like that. I want to go there now to these fucking whatever the Cinemorphs, whatever they're saying. So we meet Null. That's how the movie opens. Fucking Andy Serkis is just sound like Snoke.
No
for
idea that was Andy Serkis.
I was
like, what the
surprised because
fuck?
that opening he fucking sounded like Snoke, and yeah, that's all. They confirmed that this week in an interview. Like, we love Andy and we're working with them. Okay, great. I wish they went somewhere else because I do love Andy, but I just got lots of Snoke isms for me, and I would have liked. And he's not doing. That's not him in the fucking chair. That's somebody else. I think he's just doing the voice. So at least with Snoke,
He's the
I think
mocap god. What do you mean? That's probably the easiest job for him ever. Sit in a chair and raise your head up and down every once in a while.
Yeah, maybe it could be him. I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to look like him because Snoke didn't look like him. I just
I'm
got-
actually with you. I actually don't think it was him, but that would be the easiest mocap job he's ever done compared to like Gollum.
maybe the idea
ape.
is that like because it's in this so little, it's just the voice, and maybe he would do that. But I don't know if we're even gonna get there because the end credit is like I'm gonna jump to, and he's like I'm gonna destroy the world, and you will be watching. It's like I don't know if people are gonna be watching, dude. But. So they set this thing up where, okay, Nolly gives this very, very brief. There's so much exposition in this movie, and there's especially with the symbiotes later on too, and like the Codex. There's multiple exposition dumps done like multiple times by different characters. It's like, okay, Venom's done this to Brock. Now we're gonna have whatever Mulligan is do this to them, and now Payne's gonna do it to Chutel Ejiofor. It's like they'll say the exact same plot. It's like worded a little differently, and maybe there's like a splice of new information, but it's like the same thing over and over. It's just like cut all that out. But Null explains that okay, he's the symbiote god. They turned on him for some reason. He's in this planet, and we're going to talk about the Codex, but he's discovered a Codex, and this can free him, right? So he's sending off his little xenomorph creatures and everything. One, to me, this Codex is just stupid. Eddie Brock died, Venom saved him, and for some reason this like created some sort of Codex. One, that happened in 2018. Well, I guess it's been a year, right? But still, it happened like a year in this timeline. Why has it been a year? Why didn't Noel like sense this right away? And two, I don't mind the design, but I hated the creatures after them because I just thought like it gave Eddie Brock plot armor all the time where, especially in the water, right? They have this thing where these things are kind of like blind, but and they can't see our main characters, especially Tom Hardy. But if there's like cannon fodder soldiers, they just scoop them right up and kill them. But like there's a moment when they're in the water fighting, and Venom's right there. That's the whole thing. When Venom's in full form, you see the Codex, and the xenomorph thing can track it and see it, and then the water takes it off. And like I said, it kills all these different guards, but then Eddie just like swims away, right? And my last point that just bugged the shit out of me is, okay, they send one to Earth. Great. I have more issues with all. But then at the third act, he decides to send like, I don't know, 6, 10 of them.
Yeah, the one on Earth sends out an alarm to bring the rest of them there, which is like, why wouldn't the alarm get sent out the moment it saw Codex?
Yes.
For the first time in Act 1.
And this is supposedly the thing that could free Null, right? He's locked in this chair. So why is the second you've confirmed, hey, this thing's on Earth, I've seen this thing, there should be 10 being sent out. And I also forgot to explain that it's either iffy on it, but it's like they have to capture. Is it just Venom or is it both of them to get this Codex? Is it just Venom?
They need them both, I thought.
Okay, so that's the idea.
Well, when one of them dies, the Codex is destroyed. So I guess
Yes.
they would need both of them. Yeah.
That's what I was getting to where, and they said that Null can't escape unless he gets said Codex. But
Right.
in the end credits, he does escape. So the whole movie and Venom's sacrifice really was for nothing because Null is coming to Earth now.
But did he
I don't
escape, or you just said that?
I insinuate within the end credit he's like he's on the way. So it's like if he's on the way, he got freed somehow, right?
Felt like a Scooby Doo villain of "I'll get you one day, you meddling kids," as he's going back to Azkaban.
This all sucked though. If you didn't understand my
it sucked.
cadence,
I'm right there with you, man. The whole Codex thing didn't make any sense to me, especially that like it just felt like a way to make the Venom symbiote like significant more so over the other ones. Yeah, the fact that he just had it this whole time, like it didn't bother me that much. The fact that like Noel hasn't been like hunting him down like instantly as soon as like he could kind of sense the Codex, but yeah, I thought that when the first Xeno monster comes to Earth, I thought he actually sent like an army like the first time around. So I was surprised
bunch were
that
jumping out. Yeah.
yeah, because it seems like he had portals kind of going everywhere.
I think he was searching different planets, and
Yeah.
then when
Okay.
they found the Codex, then they would send in reinforcements, which
I see.
don't know why it took him so long once he found the Codex, but
But even at the end, like it seems like he only sends like 3 more. Like it just seems like if this is the most mandatory thing, like I was expecting like the invasion of Wakanda, like that amount of like monsters, and for how much I didn't want this movie to feel like a world-ending threat, this was even more so than that. This is like the end of all existence in the
Yes.
entire universe, galaxy, everything.
Universes.
Yeah, it's like the void, I guess, surrounds all of the universes, and you're just gonna take out everything. And
But this dude's so powerful
loved,
that a couple symbiotes locked him up. But
Rex was his character's name. Chutel Ejiofor. I never know how to say his name.
Chutel
but,
Ejiofor.
I'll practice that one in the shower later. But I I just love his like motivation switch. As soon as he like finds out that like he just has to kill Eddie to like put an end to it, he's like, oh, we gotta put an end to this. And he's like working with like the symbiote guys now. It's like we have to protect every like. Oh,
Rex, man.
He was a
Awful.
fucking character. Oh my gosh, I hated him in this movie. I really like that actor, but I just feel like in this movie I could not get past him. He was truly
See, but
awful.
I actually didn't really have any issues with his motivations. That to me, he made a lot of sense.
I think
I
it's
feel like
just
at
a
every
wild
turn
card
he
for me.
actually chose the right decision to save humanity.
I'm with you, Dylan. That's where I was confused. So I'm with you that when I watched this movie,
I don't like
I'm
that he was a dick to the scientists though for no reason. That was
But
weird.
that's my thing. They were painting him to be the classic army jughead, doesn't get it, just going to go for violence, right? Like, oh, we have the answer. No, a gun will fix it, right? But the problem was they were giving him that attitude of being an asshole, but then all his motivations were like correct. Like, in my opinion, like when he's like, oh, we got to do this, and he's like, oh, you couldn't do that. It's like, I don't know. The entire universe or Eddie Brock at this point, it's just like if I have a symbiote and it's like, hey Travis, you gotta die, or your family's dead, your friends dead, it's like, yeah, I think it's my time to go. It's just like the fact that they were looking at him like he was a fucking crazy person, and this is a government where they're doing stuff. He kidnapped the bar guy. Like they've done all this other shady stuff in the movie, and they're like, well, you can't kill like Eddie Brock and the like whatever the Venom symbiote or whatnot. It's just like it was so weird that they were trying to make him the antagonist military type, but then they gave him all motivations that made sense because he wasn't doing anything wrong. Even then, like he went on a mission and his guys got killed, and he was upset about that. There's nothing wrong about that.
Yeah.
He was blindsided, so it's just it was a very odd character of like I bet at one point in the movie there's probably scenes where he was more the villain type of role, and even Teddy Payne. Her full name, Teddy Payne.
Can we? Sorry, we're getting very. I feel like we've talked let's finish up with Noel a little bit before we get all that Strickland stuff is very correct though. And yeah, we'll talk about Dr. Payne because that's a mess of a character there. But yeah, I feel like I wanted to bring this up because I went back and listened to our predictions for the Noel stuff because I was curious how right we were. So Travis, you said there would be Noel would have no dialogue and no actor, so you were wrong there. But you also said he would have no interaction with Venom, so you were correct there because that never happens.
Never. They even like I thought for sure they're gonna at least telepathically at the end like something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
there.
or like
No.
one of the portals would be he'd go in through one of the portals, come defeat
Yeah.
Null or something like that. So I was surprised that didn't happen, or that they didn't even talk because me and Kirkland on the predictions were talking how they would somehow Venom wise like talk through the void in some ways. That didn't happen. And then screen time wise, Kirkland Taylor, you guys predicted 30 seconds for Null. Travis 2 minutes and me 4 to 5 minutes. So I think Travis was maybe the most close there.
I think I'm close.
like maybe a minute and a half kind of thing for Null.
We'll have
overall.
to wait till the DVD or the VHS comes out to track that.
I feel like the
but,
opening monologue felt pretty long. Like it felt like a few minutes.
Yeah.
I love that the first line of the movie
least
is
a minute.
I am Null. Like it's like they're trying to make the general audience and people be like, hey, this is a big bad character. It's classic Sony. It's literally like they said this in interviews. Oh, this is gonna be our Thanos. It's like they saw that and like, oh, we can do that, and they just do it terribly. It's just starting off like if Thanos like, I am Thanos and I'm looking for the stones. Like, no, you learned this over time, but this was just like to try and make you feel, oh, this guy's important and look out for him.
I feel like even I'm not the most well read when it comes to Null or these things, but more so than maybe the general audience member. And I just like I felt like I was confused with like all of the just the dump of information he was giving to us, where it's like, okay, I guess his children are the symbiotes and they banished him. So like where these Xeno things come from? Like are those his children too? And
He
why
made
are they
them,
not
'cause
working with
They were talking about like, oh, is it like your sister when Eddie was like confronting
Oh
Venom
yeah, I forgot
it,
about that
right?
line. Yeah, so it just seems like, yes, Travis, I agree, that's what they were going for. Like, no, big villain, this is gonna be like
And
the
yeah.
big guy. But
There was even a comment, I think it was from Venom, where he's like, he's not on a planet, he's in a prison. I'm like, okay, are you just saying that to be like to be silly? Like, is he in a prison on a planet, or is he just like floating in space on a meteor? Like, what's going on? I wanted to actually get an answer to that. Yeah. But and then on the aliens, I think it was so messy, the rules of these aliens. I totally agree with you. First of all, that whole river fight, I have huge beef with that river fight because one, like they are in Nevada. They're in the desert. There's barely. This is the one source of water for, as far as the eye can see. But somehow the 6 soldiers they sent in on this mission were prepped with like jet propulsion underwater scuba gear. It's like, what are the odds that that would be useful? And then also for them to go in the river, obviously they had the gear, but still that was you're putting yourself at such a disadvantage by going in the water.
You don't
for
do that
like
in the
a
final
top
circle.
level like science military combo who clearly
There's a
like came with the
waterfall.
tools.
There's a waterfall in the river.
Yeah, like, and they all seem to survive that, I guess, which is probably just pure dumb luck that they didn't hit a rock on the way down. But yeah, like that whole scene was so dumb. And yeah, I just think the concept that this alien can track this, it can track the codex from like seemingly like cities lengths away, like really, really far away. But then, like, as soon as it's like right there and he goes out of Venom mode, he can still like roughly see the outline of a body. And then, as you said, Travis, like if it's someone shooting at him, he'll go for the slash. But otherwise, it just felt too easy and convenient. It felt to me like, how is this even really a threat if we can just stay out of Venom mode and it just sits around and does nothing? And that's why the dancing scene really bothered me, because obviously that was like, they're just looking for like some fun engagement meme things with that scene, I'm sure, and I guess people love that character. But to me, it was like the dumbest character thing ever that they would like. How would he not realize that would be a way that they would get caught by going full Venom mode to go with the dance? And it's like, maybe I'm missing something from Venom 2. Like maybe she's a succubus that has like mind control over him, and that's why he goes Venom mode. But to me, it's like, no, she's just a regular person. So, and the fact that he's surprised, he's like, oh shit, it showed up. It's like, yeah, of course it did. Did you not see you jump when you were flying on a plane high above the mucky mug and it came up there and got you? Like, and it's so dumb.
Eddie told him before, if you do this, it's gonna find us, and Venom didn't care. That's what I was trying to say, non-spoilers. That's where it's like, it's not okay. We saw in the trailers, and already that's, and I were like, okay, Venom dance scene, and yeah, to me it's dumb. For me, seeing Venom, which I like as the more scary, imposing individual, he's doing these like when I have She-Hulk and Deadpool, I don't feel that about them. With Venom, I see this like, man, this really hurts. But it's like, whatever. They've done this comedic stuff before. Fine, do this. But that to me literally was the worst scene in the movie, because it just, all the stakes dropped because we can't turn, and we can't. And that's like, okay, that's a fun, like, I don't like love this. I don't even enjoy this movie, but it's like, okay, that's a fun way to kind of depower Venom, right? You can't switch into him, because if you do, this thing's going to track you, kill other people, kill yourself, right? So that's just like, oh, that's smart. But then it's like, oh, to do dancing? No, I want to dance. It's like, what if fucking Mrs. Chen dies here? It's just like everything that they built up for an hour, completely they just pulled the rug out. And that's just okay. If I had any inkling of an idea like, oh, this could be something, it's like gone. And like, I don't think that other movies have done something like this though, where this just like they threw it into the in your face kind of way, like, oh, we don't really care about these rules. And it's very odd that the bar guy they took, but Mrs. Chen they did not. Like, they just let her stay there and wave. No consistency in who this government ops take her.
Because Rex wasn't there. If Rex was there, he would have been taking everyone.
Yes, he takes everybody. Yeah, there's like just like a cargo of just like 50 people. Like, they saw a shadow of Venom, so we got to interrogate them. It's like, what else does the bar guy need,
Yeah.
And like, what other information is this guy?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what's he getting? Well, it's not like he didn't give him up. He literally said he was being weird talking to himself, and he had some things. Take him. It's like, what? Yeah, I gotta understand killing him of like, hey, we don't want him to speak to anybody, but like, what's he locked up for? What's he gonna do? And that's where Rex was being that, like, that's where I thought, okay, he's gonna be the asshole army guy. He's our villain, but he wasn't at the end.
Yeah,
I forgot his name was Rex. I knew it was Strickland, but I forgot it was Rex.
I like Strickland more. Rex does not seem very fitting to me. My last complaint about the aliens, we talked about how like poor they are at finding anything except for the codex, unless someone's shooting at them. Like, that's the rules that I've been given as a viewer. But then, how then when Venom gets captured, Venom and Eddie, and they're separated and taken off, then an alien like perfectly tracks them across, presumably fairly far away, to the base, sneaks into the base, stealths through the base, even though there's presumably people all over the place. Like, none of that really makes sense for me, given how clumsy the alien seems to be, unless it can literally see a codex in front of it. So none of that made any sense to me.
And what terrible hunters too, of like, when like they have some sort of tracking, but really they can only see the codex clear. So like, when the codex is not around, how does Null use these things? Like, when he sends them, it's like, are they always just like, they can't find their target?
Yeah, if they are in fact his creations, like, you did a pretty poor job of
Terrible.
Workshopping them.
Yeah.
Needs to get Celebrimbor in there to make them better.
Yeah. Tay, are you excited to see Nolan's Secret Wars or Spider-Man 4 or something like that?
He was definitely in here a lot longer than I was anticipating, for sure. But yeah, he didn't really do much. Just sat in his throne, sat in his chair. It's funny because he reminded me of another villain from Transformers, actually, Revenge of the Fallen,
Really?
where you have this big main bad guy who just sits in his throne throughout the whole movie. But at least in that movie, he comes out to fight at the end. Here, no, wasn't the case. Just sits there. At the very end, though, it was weird because I'm not sure if he was talking to himself or someone was talking to him. The way that he was doing the voiceover was peculiar, but it was like, oh, your champion is dead or gone, I should say. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then, yeah, it breaks into just this dialogue of him getting out and gonna kill everyone, yada, yada, yada. So I'm assuming the champion is Venom. And I took it as like, well, that's, like you guys already discussed, that's his way of getting free through the codec. But that's not the case. It's just very convoluted and very, very messy. But he did look cool, and he sounded pretty cool. So I would absolutely be excited to see him on a more prominent villainous role, I guess, like the main antagonist in an actual Marvel Disney movie and not an association.
I don't think
with
that's
Marvel
going to happen
movie.
now. I think luckily with how Venom this weekend is going to, I think, really underperform. I think they're going to look at that and be like, let's not whatever, because that's what I was happy about.
And
There
Sony's
was
gonna be like, oh, no Spider-Man for you.
well, no, they already had that contract, right? That Marvel still has at least one more.
But what if that
They still got to make some
contract-
money somewhere, even if it comes from Disney making the money for them.
Yeah,
What
They
if that
just
contract
takes
has
them off the
null
top.
in there?
I don't think it had Null in there in 2018, but you're right. I guess if Null, well, then do the same thing that they did with Tom Hardy in No Way Home. Have Null in there in the end credit scene and suck him back to the Venom universe, and you're good to go. Like that's what I did like, because I was worried in the predictions. I said they're going to have a direct tie to it, and I like that just Null saying like, I'm going to annihilate you. That's a very general, like he could just be going to the Sonyverse, right? And fine, have him fight against, because they're definitely teasing the Sinister Six, I think, because at one point, which I don't understand, there's a private or secret group called the Imperium or something like that.
Oh my god, I totally forgot
Yeah.
about that thread. Yeah.
And
oh my
he
God.
said, Rex at one point said, send the six. And I was like, fuck, what is about to happen right now? Are we going to get Meter Sinister Six? Because I can't believe that it's Rex with just 6 guards behind him, right? And then they specifically, for people that didn't watch this movie, he is talking to a guy that's in a shadowy room. You don't see his face.
Yeah.
It's like the shadow guy from Amazing Spider-Man 2 where there's something afoot. So I think they're starting to set the seeds of that as like a big corporation. But yeah, I like I said, have Null fight Venom, Morbius, Madam Web. Sure, do that, but I don't think after this you can put him, in my opinion, in the Marvel universe. Fine, if you want to do multiverse, get Venom in there, sure, but Null, like even at least if this movie would have sucked, but it's like, hey, Null seemed really cool, and I would like to see that. This just felt like a discount Thanos. Felt like we've been here, done this, So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's take our. Oh, sorry, you go ahead, Kirk. Well, actually, let's take our second ad break, and then we'll hear what Kirkland was breathing about. So we'll be right back. And we're back.
It's more
If you
lip
want to hear,
smacking than breathing.
yeah, if you want to hear Kirkland's lip smack right away or the breathing, you head over to Patreon and get every episode we do ad free. Got lots of exclusive episodes on there right now, exclusive retros of Superman and Fantastic Four throughout the year, so get those. Patreon producers tier where you can recommend the movies for us to watch. Lots of good stuff in there, voting on polls, so we recommend that, and we'd appreciate it if you listen to this. We want more episodes, but also want to support some independent content creators. We very much appreciate the help there. So now, Kirkland, back to you.
Nice long anticipated wait for this one. It's a pretty minor point, but I just wanted to address to Travis's pet peeve that he mentioned on a cast not too long ago, where they take, whenever films take, I feel like this is a pet peeve of mine now after you brought it up, they take an image from a movie or the same movie or something to use as like a screen capture or a photo.
Like a security camera
Yeah.
got it, but it's a
Yeah.
shot of like a promo shot of Eddie Brock. You're like,
Yeah, it's like great resolution and everything. And they use that
Deadpool
for
3 has a shit ton of that. Yeah.
yeah.
They use that for Patrick Mulligan's like screenshot when they're like Eddie Brock wanted for murder of this character, and it's like a scene from Venom 2 when he's like looking down a hallway, and I swear that was in like every trailer too. So as soon as they showed it on screen, I'm like, Oh God, I hate that so much now. I feel like I never noticed it before you brought that up, Travis. So yeah, no, that's definitely a pet peeve of mine now. I'm gonna be because I feel like it's one of those things that it just stands out so much, especially if you've seen the movie or the show or something. It's the worst when it's probably taken from the same thing. Like if it was a shot from this movie used there, I think that would be even more egregious. But
You'll never see any GeekVerse movie, I
Yeah.
promise. That and what Dylan brought up this week, I'll try to make sure there's no on the ground pull. There's none of that in this movie, Dylan. No one on the ground finding a piece of metal and hitting
Sure,
them or
the great
anything.
movie.
from the down.
Great,
Yeah.
yeah. So we got a couple pet peeves we'll make sure not to hit. Did you have somewhere specific to go other than the footage?
I was just kind of going off my notes, my
Okay.
last couple of things to shout out, but we can go elsewhere.
Let's talk about Teddy Payne, which is
Teddy
where I was
Payne.
going.
that is a fucking porn star name if I've ever heard one. But just Teddy Payne, oh, this is a character I would completely again just chop her right out. Just make it Rex and give some scientists a few lines, but just that for some reason I don't know. Someone's gonna have to explain it to me. They accept some origin where she has a twin brother. You know, that's great and all. He wants to go to space. That's great and all. They're on the beach. Their parents are nowhere to be found.
So what did he want to go to space? I thought he wanted to work at Area 51. I thought that
it?
was specifically.
I thought he
what
said
it
he
was.
wanted to
Her
go up.
brother, yeah.
I thought he said he wanted to go up.
But
I
she
heard
said
that he
multiple
wants to work
times
at
in the
Area
movie that
51.
she's like living her brother's dream by working
Okay.
for Area 55.
Someone will have to let me know. I'm not going to rewatch it, so I'll take your guys' word. So either way,
Because it stood out to me as being the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. So that's why it's in my head.
so they're on this beach. It's already looking stormy, but a storm even become Storm is out there in the X-Men doing some practice lessons and happens to take on these kids' lives. But so, anyways, they start to run away from the storm. They're holding hands. Her brother gets struck by lightning, kills him, and she has like a lightning bolt scar. It's like the bad Harry Potter. She's like lightning bolt scar up her arm all the way to her neck. And yeah, her life mission is now her brother wanted a job or to do something, so she wants to do that. And I don't know why we actually needed any of that backstory. Again, if there's maybe a 2.5 hour movie where we got some great character development, it's deep story, then maybe, but that's not in this movie. So it's like, take that all out of there. She also somehow makes a symbiote that's infused with lightning. I don't know why that is like, she's just obsessed with lightning. It wasn't like I would have been cool if like she had something in her and then the symbiote and that like both, but it seems like she concocted like, hey, I've been hit with lightning. I would like to have lightning powers. It's like she's like trying to. It's like if Spider-Man got bit and he got no spider powers, like, oh, I want spider power. So when I make a formula, it's gonna have spider powers. It was odd. Did not like this character. Same thing as Rex. And sometimes they made her seem like she was gonna be the crazy, dangerous scientist going against the grain, but then in the end, she's just a completely good guy and helping out. And yeah, again, another terrible character that had some weird scenes with Mulligan and not. And her sidekick is the Christmas one too. I have issues with that. But we'll wait. So.
Well, yeah, to me, that's like when we look at Dr. Payne, and it's like, why, like, what is this backstory doing here?
Yeah.
But then I think to me, it's like, well, if you don't do the backstory, then you get a character like Christmas. I'm just gonna call her that because I don't remember her name, and that's what Rex called her. And I thought that was funny. Where that character makes no sense to me. Like all we have to go off of is that she's got some like kinky interest with symbiotes. She like we see her tap one of the tubes in a way that's like, okay, she's kind of weird and quirky. She likes these symbiotes, and that's all there is. And so it's really hard to buy into like anything that she's doing because she makes some pretty notable decisions. She's never done it before, but she just goes and absorbs a symbiote to go transfer it to Eddie. That's a huge leap of faith. Like, you just might just die in this encounter. She gets the other suit later and does... I mean, I guess at that point, the suit is kind of taking over, presumably. But, like, there's so many questions there, and I just can't answer them. But at least with Dr. Payne, I can at least understand a little bit more. I think the storyline with the brother is so forced and cheesy, and I think the thing I hated the most was like at the very end, kind of when the battle's coming to a close, and Rex, this is like right before he sacrifices himself, and the three of them are there, and he's like, "This is what your brother wanted, huh?" Like he makes some little wisecracker joke. It's like,
you are living your brother's life.
Like, just making fun of this girl's like dead brother, just like in this moment when all this crazy stuff has happened. It's like just such a wild thing to say. So it just like none of it made sense. This is too bad because I haven't seen this actress in much, but after watching Ted Lasso, like she's so great there, Juno Temple, and like I was just so disappointed that this is like the role that was given to her. Her accent also threw me off big time.
I
Her
couldn't get
American
past
accent
it.
is great, but it just was so weird for me to hear after watching so much Ted Lasso. And then I think that the thing that has just killed the character for me is just how she has no reactions when people are dying. Like when he's like, "Hey, 3 of my soldiers just died for what we're doing here." She has no reaction whatsoever, and it makes me really have to buy into her.
Did you get any like DNA or something she asked?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's why I
so
thought, okay, evil
cold, and that's-
scientist coming.
That's where like, okay, I want to root for her because I like the actress, but I can't root for her after how cold-hearted she is. And so to me, that's the stuff that didn't make any sense. Like I get like the person who wants the science above all else, but I feel like there's a line. It's like she probably even met some of these people that are dying too, and she doesn't give a shit at all. And even
Dr.
later in the
Payne.
movie, more people are dying,
Yeah.
and she doesn't care. So I think that was like the linchpin of what made the character kind of broken for me. And
they even have
I couldn't
Chris-
have any empathy for her.
They even have Christmas when she says that line of like, "Did you get any DNA or whatnot?" She like looks up at her like you're a cold person. Like, how could you ask
Yeah.
that? So again, like Rex to me, they were giving isms of, oh, she's gonna that's whatever that tube is, she's gonna help them get it. Like when she helped release all the symbiotes, I thought, oh man, maybe there's some twist where she's doing this for her own personal gain. Like, yeah, sure to help them, but then after, because she's taking care of them, maybe they're gonna look at her like a mother. Like I thought, oh, something cool could happen here, but no, it's just then she's a good guy. She's saving the family. She's saving Venom. She becomes Agony, which is a symbiote. It's just
Yeah.
which is like a cool enough look. I guess it's just I wish it was just Scream. I guess, but it's not. I like the hair for the symbiotes, but yeah, she becomes a symbiote at the end, and then at the end they like do stupid sequel bait where it goes when she like look on her hand and like looks at the screen. Pretty
Yeah,
much
she
like,
gets that redeeming moment of her brother died in this way, but it's to save Christmas in this
Yeah.
way. It's like, oh, so
Out of all
forced.
those symbiotes, now I don't remember seeing the 2 that were like infused together die. Maybe it was a quick scene
They
because
did.
like
one
they were,
died for sure.
They got ripped apart and then they got killed.
Aiden.
they both did. Okay.
At
I
least
saw
one.
Yeah, I saw one Aiden for sure. I don't know what happened to the other one, but you would assume that explosion also maybe took him out
Yeah,
too.
the
Eddie.
explosion. That's right. Yeah. I thought that was really, really cool seeing all the different types. And yeah, Travis, you alluded to this before, the fire guy. Total disappointment. When I saw him, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, that's fucking
He's gonna
cool.
pop. I was like, he's gonna pop off. Like, here we go.
I thought
And it
Carnage
just-
was
he
back for a
practically-
second.
there's a lot of. It was like
gonna be
Marvel.
Carnage.
It's like Smash Bros, where it's a Carnage and you have a bunch of different color sets. Like that's what
Yeah.
was going. It's too many of them for me had the knives. Too many of them had the skinny
Yeah.
body.
That's
like,
what I thought. I was like 100%. I'm like, holy fuck, what are you?
One of them was kind of like
just
the
come out of
Thing
nowhere.
a little bit. He was kind of rocky and dusty.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
liked that they're trying to do some difference. He was bigger, and the Christmas one was dumb. Like the symbiote touches a tree. Oh, I'm gonna be green and like red. It's like
Was that just for identification purposes? Like I was so lost because I haven't revisited the second movie. I'm like, was this character in there or something? Like it seems like we have a lot of focus on this Christmas
No,
character of like
she's-
she's the one that snuck Venom back to Eddie. Like it just, yeah, a
and
lot
she
of
get-
significance on this character for
And-
no apparent reason.
And again, why I have to believe there's cut scenes. She's like it's like in the hierarchy of good guys at the end, it's like Venom and then her. She's kicking ass all
Yeah.
over this thing. So it feels like, oh, this is a character that you're rooting for the whole time, but all you learn about it is that her mother made her a pin that it's not, she doesn't even love Christmas. Her mother made that her pin and like, I can't throw it out. It's just like, it's so odd the choices they do, but I think there's like enough fun symbiote action at the end that I can like, even with Taylor, I can understand if someone likes the symbiote. It's like, okay, yeah, it's cool seeing. I don't think any of this is earned, but it's cool seeing them. And Taylor, can you bring up your point about the codex and the symbiotes that I agreed with you, and I don't want to take it from you because you were talking about in the car, because Eddie and Venom are so important, right? Because they saved each other and created a codex, but you were talking about this in the car.
Yeah, well, I'll use I can't remember his name, like the security guard, for example, when he just fucking stood alone, you shall not pass, with his little pistol.
yeah,
in
he
front of
did the
this fucking
Gandalf
alien.
last
He did
stand.
the Gandalf, and he got absolutely bopped. But thing is, and the point being made is that okay, he's dying, and a bunch of other people were dying too, and then these symbiotes that connect with them. You think then, okay, if they're saving someone from dying, that should be creating a whole bunch of other codex, right?
So yeah, to me there should
Well,
be at least be 3 to 4.
My counter argument would be he didn't die yet. He was just dying, and then the symbiote jumped on him.
But
and
that's what
healed
isn't
his
that what they
wounds.
said though? Like if
I
they're
thought
dying,
Eddie like actually died in like. the first
oh,
movie.
you're right. He did say that if the person dies, then
So
we'll
they,
bring them back.
so they have to like
Yeah.
flatline then?
Yeah.
I guess.
That's how I
Like a
took it.
referee
That-
has
that's
to like
like-
smack the ground
That
3
makes
times, like
sense.
3
Yeah.
seconds.
I'm not
I
like
don't wanna-
invested in this argument, you know, like like it is pretty silly the reasoning for it. I wish they had more I wish there was a better reason than just that's the only reason that they have the codex. Like Venom had it with, like, he like stole it from, I don't know, some way, shape, or form. It just, I was saying it earlier, like, it just seems like a lazy way to put significance on Venom, and like this is the most important symbiote because he's the one that has the codex. But
chosen oneness of it.
yeah, that if to play devil's advocate, that would kind of be my pushback. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't know. They just
I'd have
plot
to,
twist.
not that I'm gonna, I'd have to watch Venom 1, the ending, see like the state of Eddie's body when that happens, right? Because I remember he's on, they show him get stabbed. I remember they, at one point in Venom, he like hits the water, I think, right? And then it's something where, because they try to pretend like Venom's dead, so I'd have to go back, but I'm not gonna do that. So I guess you could be right,
that to
too,
yourself.
or Kirkland, that I guess he's not like flatlined, you know.
I'm just counting on all you guys not wanting to go rewatch that first movie.
Yeah, you
to
love this.
prove
Yeah,
me
we're,
wrong.
we're trying to give it views, and you're not letting us, you know.
Dr. Payne, yeah, I really like Juno Temple in Ted Lasso. I thought she was a character that, I don't know, like I just thought nothing of, like, when she was first in that show, and then she really grew to like just be an interesting character, great performance, and I was really let down by her performance in here. I don't even think it's necessarily all her. I think, well, 90% of it, I would imagine, would be the writing, but also it's just like, because I haven't seen her do an American accent, I just couldn't get past that. She's a very thick accent in Ted Lasso, so to just get this like American girl, I think because it was so strange for me to hear the accent coming out of her mouth. A lot of the lines just felt so like flat, like as if she was just like doing a table read type situation, and I don't want to just
Trying
put
not
that
to
on
break
her.
the accent.
Yeah,
Keep
like,
it simple.
I don't want to just put that on her. It's just that's how I kind of took those lines, unfortunately. So I was really unimpressed with that, but also just the whole storyline around her and her brother. And I think it was one of those things where, like, that storyline, I thought there was more significance to the Christmas character. All the symbiotes kind of pop off in the last few minutes of the movie. So I just felt like we were getting a lot of setup, and I just never got a lot of that answered, because, like, how does it end? She just, I guess, is living her brother's dream by working at Area 55, and now she has these lightning powers, and that's just where we're going now. Like she just is a Venom character. Like she still has that symbiote, and
She's
I don't
gonna be
know,
Venom 4.
it's also like when she pulls out the vial and she just like activates her powers, it just felt very unearned and like not as like a satisfying, I don't know, savior event. I'm completely in agreement with what you said, Travis, of just axing her from the movie. Not just the actress, but just like the character.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare her like symbiote moment to everyone else, it's way more muted, right? She just gets
Yeah.
to like save one person, and then it's kind of over at that point, which is disproportionate to how much like screen time that character got and how much she's like actually given a backstory, whereas no one else is given a backstory in this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Random kind of nitpick about like, so the situation here at Area 51, they're shutting down Area 51, decommissioning it. So they're kind of just blowing up random stuff like one by one.
Acid bath and everything.
And then acid bath, which is like, how would Venom know to go there? And like, it's very like, why is there just an acid bath? Like, none of it really made any sense. But nearby Area 55, it's like right there. It's connected. I don't exactly know geography wise, but like it's a hidden secret base, and presumably that secret base is going to continue doing its secret base stuff after Area 51. They're going to keep the symbiote program going there. So it's like, okay, first of all, that's really risky that like, okay, the security around this base is going to be taken down. So now there's like no layers of security. And then also their base is hidden behind like a sand waterfall, which is not a thing, right? So people who would go there would see that like, oh, there's a sand waterfall. That's not a real thing. I wonder what's happening over there. And they would like discover this hidden base. It's like the worst way to hide a base is some crazy natural phenomena that doesn't exist. So yeah, that's my nitpick there. It's the dumbest thing ever. Yeah, maybe it looked cool a little bit, but like save that for Dune. Okay, we don't need any of that in Venom over here.
I was gonna say though, if you saw a sand waterfall, you wouldn't go in there. I bet though, right? You'd be like, well, that might be dangerous.
I might not, but like people who like cave diving and exploring and stuff, that'd be a great thing to do. World's first sand waterfall that doesn't exist in Mario 64. Like they would be all over that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was all silly stuff. Oh, they can't be sending messages from up there and everything like that. All right.
Yeah.
And the just speaking of the acid bath, Rex's like Rex's death. I was giggling so hard in this sequence because like Venom goes out of his way to to shield Eddie, and then he's just basically using Rex for his eyeballs, right, to activate the Venom,
Yep.
the acid bath, and then does it the first time, like picks him up, gets him to do it again. Meanwhile, he's just getting pelted by these little acid droplets, and just It's
And,
like the
like-
camera went back to him like a couple times. It's like, oh, the shower's getting heavier. He's getting more acid on him.
And I understand it because clearly, if they're there on like a regular day, right, it's just whatever they're melting. It's probably not overgrown and moving. So like acid isn't moving stuff. But you think if you're like doing acid baths, you'd have some
Oh,
container
terrible
over
PPE,
where your
terrible
eye- yeah, where
personal
your eye- like,
protective equipment.
There's nothing here that would shield, like even at least give you a chance to run away. But yeah, I laughed and I couldn't. I was like, oh, like he's gonna get a little bit, but I'm like, oh, maybe this is some character I don't know everything. And then I see him reaching for that grenade. I'm like, oh my god, he's just gonna kill himself, and he did. He just killed himself. I was like, wow, there goes Rex. You know, I guess he's no longer at the Imperium. So
And
Yeah.
so Rex, the actor, that he played Baron Mordo, right, in Doctor
Mhm.
Strange.
he
and
did,
stuff.
yeah.
You think it's a variant? Is that a variant situation?
I'm gonna say I hope not. No.
Or how about Andy Serkis? Because he's, I guess he's now Null and also Claw, right?
Claw? Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna
Variant?
say because they don't
Variant?
look, just similar voices, and then I'm gonna say this is Baron Mordor's twin brother, Rex Mordor, but he changed
Rex
it.
Mordo.
He's changed it to Strickland because that's a cool name as well. But
I
yeah,
love the
no.
Sony versions of the Marvel portals.
Oh,
They're just
yeah.
like cheaper yellow portals. It's so funny.
They don't look as
I-
pleasant to go through, you know? They look like
No.
you just kind of get tossed.
They're not as sparkly and fun.
Yeah.
I hope
Nasty.
he gets to come back and be Baron again. Because if everyone forgets, remember the end credit of Doctor Strange 1 was no more sorcerers,
Right.
and that's 2016, and we're still waiting to find out what's he doing.
Right, because the multiverse was a different one.
There's
that
a
we got
variant as well.
more
So
of.
yeah, we still don't know what he's been up to. So yeah, too bad. I don't want him as back as Rex, though. I'll say that. Baron, sure. Rex.
Let Rex sleep. Let him
Yeah.
sleep.
Let him have
Uh,
his acid bath.
I want to shout out one scene before I forget, because I know I'll forget. It's when Eddie wakes up and he's trying to talk to Venom, and he's in like the hospital bed. This is when he wakes up in New York, and there's a voice that says, he's not gonna wake up, and this was another part that was just so funny in the movie, because Tyler was sitting next to me, and I just heard him say like under his breath like who's it gonna be, like it's gonna be like a big significant character or something. The camera just goes to this most generic looking white dude ever, and I swear to God the camera was on him for like 5 or 6 seconds of just like trying to like emphasize like this is the character he's talking to.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who the fuck is that guy? It was just such a funny like build up of like, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? It's like that guy. Wait a minute, who the fuck is that? Yeah, but I just could not stop giggling in the theater because of that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I was expecting that to be in that seat, but definitely not just some random general that exhumed him of all his
Yeah, you're expunged.
expunged,
Expunged,
not
baby.
exhumed.
Different.
Yeah.
Did Tyler like the Hidalgo scene with the horse?
I didn't actually bring that up. We'll have to ask him.
Had
I'll
to,
ask
right?
him. Yeah,
Must have loved it.
he'll be listening
Yeah.
to this, so he'll have to comment.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, on the Patreon. But yeah, in that scene, it would have made more sense for Strickland to survive and them to kind of have like a full circle moment. Because something they never.
He's like
Again.
Harvey Two-Face. Just all melted. Look at me!
This is Rex Strickland. This is Baron Mordor, and then that's how it happens. But like, they also another plot element that just like the you'd make a good dad thing that wasn't needed. The whole we see Eddie Brock himself kill somebody, right? And they do this
Right.
moment where he shoots a guard and he's on the log and he's like having a moment like, okay, maybe something to chew on. And then right away he gets pulled away from like a Venom thing and it's off. And then they don't mention it for like 45 minutes. And then Rex is like, yeah, you killed my guys. And then Eddie's like, well, you made me do it. It's just like, all right. And then it just that like that doesn't nothing gets resolved with that again because Venom secretly sneaked up from Christmas and then they start fighting and Venom's like, run and everything. So it's like nothing gets. I guess there was a resolution. Eddie was torn about it, but he was not torn when he realized, oh, nah, they made me do it. I don't feel bad about killing an extra life now. It's like
He's expunged now.
he's expunged. And even then, it's just like, I get that they're criminals. In the beginning of the movie, they're like, I really don't want to hurt you, but like, I'm giving you a last chance warning. And like, they're still murdering people. I don't care if it's Venom biting the heads off. He's actively helping Venom murder people. And same thing, I get it. This guard is like a U.S. official, probably an innocent that's just doing their job, but it's just like, at this point of a year of massacring people, I don't know. And again, if you're going to do this story of, man, Eddie Brock feels bad because he's personally killed someone, do something with it. They introduced it to bring up twice. It goes nowhere. It's odd. That's why I have to believe there's either a script that has torn out pages or there's stuff they filmed. And I'm not saying I want this cut because I don't think anything would make it better, but I just feel like with Rex, with Payne, with this storyline, I don't think there is anything with the family, because I thought it was weird that he hated the family, that he wants them, but this storyline of feeling guilty and then nothing comes of it. It's like, why is this there? Don't like, just, it's supposed to be a schlocky good time. Just do that. Don't make fucking Eddie worry that he took a life, like, just move along. Make them just make them shitty military people and you're expunged, So.
I'm surprised that took until the third movie to happen, that realization.
And why? What came out of this? Like, why now,
Yeah, they definitely brush it under the rug.
Because, like, he does that, and then right away he meets the family. So we're onto that dynamic. It's not like, I could understand if that wasn't in the movie. And imagine that. Think about, and I don't even know with the hands of these people if it would be written well, but take out all the family stuff, and that stuff is like Eddie really coming to terms that he killed the person, and we've done all this, and maybe he shouldn't be doing this. Again, I don't think it would be that fun to watch, but at least I'd understand. But no, we move on. We meet a family, and
it's the last dance. We got to dance. We got to fight.
Yeah.
We got to ride horses.
Got to ride horses, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have something else? There was another thing we were talking about. I just
post credit for me. That's the last note.
Oh, right. Mulligan. That's a genuine laugh I got where, okay, so he's this character from the second one. He's been saved. He's being experimented on. They give the symbiote scene, which they never said it was toxin, but he kind of looked...
I was gonna say that was supposed to be toxin. I thought, and
well, he's toxin in the comic books, but I don't think that was toxin. But anyway,
very untoxin-like. It just seemed like a genie symbiote.
He was a genie,
on everyone's side, giving them these little, I don't know, prophetic truths. It seemed.
I guess an actor has to, like, you got to get paid, right? So I understand why you do it, but I just feel like you get that script, like, oh, I'm coming back. I got the symbiote last movie. I could do some fun stuff. And you're just there to be in a hospital gown and deliver multiple exposition jumps about Null, about shedding, about how we're, like, me being a symbiote, like, everything about the movie that doesn't really need it, but he's there. And man, do I love when, okay, Christmas has a symbiote, sneaks into Venom, they all break out, and the whole thing is, oh, well, they don't want him to get the codex, right? So after this whole time being locked up, and he seems like he's a more, like, reasonable symbiote as well. Like, he's trying to help out, because multiple symbiotes, Chris was like, we're not bad, we're trying to help you, because they have Rex murder an innocent symbiote too in the final act. We didn't talk about that. He just bazookas somebody. But I got a great laugh, not intentional, a great laugh as he gets out of his cell and he's like, run, Eddie. He holds the thing back and it just gobbles him right up. So this character that has been here for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes in the movie, finally that, like, the role Christmas was in, I would have believed him in that role, because at least he's a supporting character throughout the movie. But no, that actress came in, did the dump, and, oh, you're gonna do some cool stuff now, we're just gonna have the thing eat and shoot you out. I was like, man, how just, and I just feel like Rena as an actor, of course you're gonna pay, just like, man, this sucks. like, this is what I'm coming back for. Like, I was supposed to set up to be like a villain, and now I'm just like this guy. So I got a good laugh out of them just killing him off right when he got out of his prison cell, So
I gotta say, I love the aliens having just like a full on wood chipper inside their heads. I thought that was a fun visual, very grotesque, but quite fitting. And then when they eat up the different symbiotes and shoot out like different color goo and whatnot, it's good stuff.
Anything else to bring up about the Last Dance here?
Well, I did in our Discord tell you guys not to stay around for the post credit. Did you stick around for the post credit?
Taylor made me. Taylor wanted to stay for the post credit. So, and we didn't even see the last 3 seconds of the post credit got cut off. So I still had to pull up on YouTube regardless.
Oh,
yeah.
I just Googled it. I didn't even YouTube.
Long
Just
credits.
Danny Rojas escaping Area 55, right?
Credits were so long.
Yeah, and they kind of show like there's a it is a cockroach, not a cockroach. A cockroach looks like it has some like symbiote stuff on it. So again, just like Venom 1, they tease Venom's dead and he could be out there. I guess that's the same thing. Oh, remind me, we have to talk about the song choice at the end too after this. But yeah, that's what it was. It looks like the symbiote could still be out there, even though I thought what was going to happen is I thought, oh, maybe this will still happen. But I thought, oh, Tom Hardy's going to go to Holland's universe and that thing is still there, right? So that's how he would get Venom back, because there's like a piece of Venom in another universe. So I thought, okay, like I don't want that to happen, but that would make sense, right? But this is just like fake death of, okay, Venom exploded. Nah, he's still around. It's like, all right. And I know, like, again, I don't know how Null's out, but yeah, very, very odd scene for the guy. You know, good for him. He's getting work as a post-credit actor in the Sony universe. So,
The what's up with the little electricity that the cockroach was going up to? What do you guys think that means, if anything?
no idea. I'm not sure. Is that lady's vial, Dr. Payne's vial?
It looked like it. Yeah.
So
Maybe a little
it's
hybrid moment or something.
Venom gonna come back. It's teasing Miles Morales with his electricity powers. He's gonna get that. Yeah, he's there.
Very true.
Yeah. No, I had no idea. I was caught off guard.
No, no idea.
Oh, Taylor's Venom came out there for a second.
Taylor,
We have no idea.
Taylor, are you glad that you decided to stick around and watch that scene?
I am glad.
Are you
Really?
Yeah, I just think that, like, could I have watched it on YouTube? Yes, I absolutely could have. But you know, it was a bit. It got a laugh out of me just seeing like the destroyed bunker zone, Area 51, and the cave, and I was not expecting just to see this fucking bartender just, oh no, start freaking out because everything's destroyed. So that got a chuckle out of me. But I did enjoy just getting that quick snippet of seeing that, okay, this is how we get a Venom back, because it's some cockroach that's kind of latched onto a symbiote. As for the vial having like electrical spark, I just took it as, well, I thought, okay, well, it would be like the Venom vial, but then I thought, well, maybe it was the one that like, the girl had crushed, because that was her symbiote. But yeah, I'll just be telling myself that, no, it's just this cockroach has that Venom, what do they call it, the symbiote, not discharge, the viral, there's a term that they gave it.
Shedding? Was it shedding?
Viral shedding,
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Viral shedding. Oh my God, what does that even mean?
Shedding those virals.
Shedding those vies. Huh. Cool.
And then what happens is, so Venom, we talked about this, I guess we just alluded to it, but he gets all the alien creatures, he like sucks them all up, you know, cool, you're seeing Venom in like a big state, turns on the acid. We only talk about Rex's death and talk about Venom. So Venom, he's like, oh, you know, don't forget about me. Oh, just dumb shit between
Goodbye
Eddie
for
and-
now.
Yeah, dumb shit between Eddie and, you know, I also just laugh too. It's like that scene in the copter where he's saying goodbye to him because Venom's not there. It's just Tom Hardy just acting his ass off to like nothing, you know. Like I'd love to see that footage where there's just, and he's like looking around, but he's gone. We already talked about it. The nobody army guy sponges him. So then he goes to New York, and it's him walking down the road to get to a spot where he can see the Statue of Liberty. And they play.
Sorry, he kind of just wakes up in New York, first of all, which, like, I guess they transported him there?
Yeah.
Did he wake up in New York?
Well, in the hospital bed. I presume he was, like, knocked out, and that's the first time he, like, woke up after the whole encounter.
But in the hospital bed, was that New York?
They didn't confirm.
They
that
didn't.
was New
They
York.
didn't
that
say
was New
"Welcome
York."
to New
Well-
York." No.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're
Did
like
they?
in the city of New York, and then he wakes up. Like, what? We would just show us a shot of New York and then transport to a hospital bed.
I don't
somewhere
remember it
else.
showing New
I
York.
don't remember New
before that.
York,
I remember
yeah.
it was just him lying on the ground, and then he woke up in the bed saying, "Buddy, are
Yeah.
you there?"
And then New York
So
came
where do you
after.
think he is? Area 51? That's decommissioned?
Yeah,
Area
and
55?
then he goes.
Just some
They
base.
sponge him, and then he goes to New York. Like I don't
Yeah.
think because
No,
why
that's
would
why
they
he's going to
fly
New
him
York.
to New York?
They can
Well,
only
that's my
sponge
question.
him in
Why would
New
they
York.
find it in New York?
Well, no, and then they also he had the judge, but he wanted to see the Statue of Liberty. But I can't remember. I think it was a Maroon 5 song or something.
Memories.
Yeah, and memory. When that
Total
hit,
memories.
yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, and that's where it literally just feels like they watched Deadpool and Wolverine, like, oh, everyone loved that Good Riddance reel they did with Green Day. Like, we should do something like that.
Like
One,
a song that's 5 years old at least.
yeah, you've not earned it at all. I think critically, but even then, just like 3 movies. Like, I just feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone's watched this crime, but I just feel like this sent off to Tom Hardy was like, all right, like this doesn't feel like a send off to me. It's just like the end of the movie, and then yeah, that song choice kicked in, and then it just faded to black, and it's like, oh, awful. Just a perfect way to end this trilogy for what it was. So, not great.
Yeah, it made me think back to all the memories that I've had in this Venom trilogy, and I don't know, I just could not stop laughing throughout this this whole sequence. I think it was just like the cheesy little half smile that he has on his face. He's like walking through downtown New York, and he's just satisfied with what him and his buddy Venom did on this journey, and goodbye for now. It's just I think it was just a lot of cheese, and I think it's one of those things where it's like I just don't believe that this will ever finally be done. Like it just I feel like that's too nice to be able to close this chapter of Tom Hardy's Venom. Like we're just never gonna get any more.
That
biting
box
off
office is bad
heads
enough. We might it
or
might be if it's a
tater
Joker 2
tots.
situation, we might
So
be in luck. Yeah.
in the back, I was like waiting though for Venom to like say something in his mind, and then it just actually played the credits, and I'm like, wow, okay, they actually did it. Like I was like 95% convinced that Venom was gonna still somehow survive this. So I guess like kudos to them for having some consequence. Like Venom is dead,
Is he, though?
but
What
well,
if he's
yeah,
on the
that's the
cross?
thing though. It's
He's
like
on the
I
roach.
yeah.
That roach will crawl because
I guess it's technically ambiguous, but
yes,
yeah, just open that door, crack it open.
The whole end sequence of them just going through all the different scenes, it was just weird because you get some shots of Venom from like the first film. It's like, well, the CGI looks so much worse there in comparison to just how he looks in this one. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but it's just how it
It's
stood
too
out.
quick of cuts, I guess. I didn't notice, but
But yeah, it was just I don't have that sentimental attachment to this character. So when I'm going through, and you're right, Kirkland, yeah, he's walking, does this like half smirks. It's like, I'm not with you on this. This is there's no connection here to this character, and just this emotional retrospect that he's dwelling on as he's going to the Statue of Liberty. So
that's funny. I just think they are like Deadpool, where they go, oh, Deadpool can be extremely funny, but when they got to be emotional, they can do it. And it's like, I get what you're going for, but it's you're just not in that realm there. And
Even the horse song choice, like wasn't that like Guardians 3 song? Like it just seemed like they were really trying to like pull from like
Which
what you
song
said
choice?
with the when he's on the horse. It's not.
it's a Queen song. I can't remember which
Oh,
Queen
Don't
song
Stop
it
Me Now.
was.
Don't Stop Me
Don't Stop
Now.
Me.
Yeah,
That's on Guardians.
I felt like it at least.
Okay, it can be in Guardians 4.
There you go.
Make a pitch
that
for it.
I feel like that song is in like every movie these days.
Not Guardians 3 though.
It wasn't No Sleep Till Brooklyn though. That's
Yeah,
what they should have
that-
played at the end. You know, when he's
That
walking
or I
down the
Need a
street.
Hero. It's one of those two. You know. I keep forgetting. Oh, the other thing that just annoyed me is we just had to. I feel like they showed clips from Venom 1 and 2, but I feel like the majority of the clips was from this movie. So I was just rewatching, like when they're showing him like at the bar.
Oh,
he's
the
like,
memories.
oh man, yeah, like
Memories.
Yeah, remember
I don't-
10 minutes ago? Yes, I do actually.
yeah, I don't need this, but we got it, and that's the Venom trilogy. If I don't, maybe I did feel like I needed this when we got this announced. I remember back in the day, and I guess, do we have any overall or any thoughts for going to overalls? Okay, then I'll do that
Send me
here.
home.
Where I just remember before this all started, like DC's they're having their struggles, but they're trying to get going, and Marvel's kicking ass, and then just this idea of. Back then, it was a rated R movie. Never happened, but it was a rated R Venom movie starring Tom Hardy. It's like, man, that has, and I think I remember too. It might have been, it's one of his last like on Dynamic Duo before Liam left. It's if people don't know, it used to be just like a comic book show that me, Kyle, and Liam used to host, and Liam was on his way out, and he was like starting to get that superhero fatigue. But I remember just even like pitching him on Venom, like, oh well, that sounds cool. Like we all love Tom Hardy. Just like to think where we were from like 2016 or 17 from this being rumored to like. Kudos to them. They made their money. They made the trilogy. Like, who would have thought Venom would have had its own trilogy? Probably not me. But it definitely feels like the least consequential, like, trilogy in, like, the comic book realm. Like, this is, like, it's just gonna be such a blur. It's just gonna be like in 20 years, like, oh, remember when Tom Hardy was Venom, like the next Venom person we cast. It just felt like such a waste of time. And I watched Venom 1 again, but I've never watched 2 again, and I'll never watch this. And even if the kids want to watch it, sure, it's on TV, but I'll be on my phone. Like, I have no reason to revisit. It just feels like such a nothing trilogy, but hey, they were successful. They found people that liked it. This is not a good movie. I'm giving this 1 out of 10. Half star for Rice Ifans because I didn't like the family stuff, but I thought he killed it as like he knew what his job was. And I the other half star because I don't think the symbiote action at the end was completely off. Like I think they delivered on a big third act, and I agree that sometimes there is it's just guck everywhere. But there is other times where you go, okay, that's creative, or I like different variants, but that's really it. I didn't laugh intentionally other than a few Martin things. Character dynamics and motivations are all over the place. Writing. What a trilogy. And I'm very curious to see the next 2 weeks at the box office because I feel like it, even in my audience, like I alluded in the announcements, it feels like the shtick is up now, maybe for people. You know, that love for Venom. It's like, I don't think it's like Deadpool and Wolverine where it kept building, or Deadpool. I think this was like, okay, I think Venom, also like Taylor said, 6-8 years ago, I was down for Venom, but now I don't think I need Venom anymore. And people didn't need Joker. They didn't need Captain Marvel. They didn't need Aquaman. So I don't know. Is there a place for Venom? I think we could end it here. Let's have Craven come out, and then Sony, just do your animated stuff. I did say to Taylor in the car that I have more faith, at least, that I think Craven will be better than this. I would hope. It's just going to be a bit more simpler, like a revenge tale, but you never know. So,
after watching the trailer again on the big screen, I can't agree with that.
You think Craven's going to be worse than this?
I think it very well could be worse than
Wow.
this. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
mean, when I think my number, it's hard when you get down to these low numbers, your 1s, your 2s, your 3s, like, what's the difference? I don't really know. I was thinking for the meme, should I give this a 3 because it's the third Venom movie? But that felt too high. So I'm going to go with a 2 out of 10 because this is the second Venom movie that I am seeing. So I'm going to give it that juicy number 2. 1 point for Eddie Brock, 1 point for Venom. There you go.
There you go. Yep. Kirkland.
Sweet.
Because
Yeah.
Taylor might be the highest. So I'll end off with Taylor on a high note.
I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 10. My reasoning for that is, I don't know what I gave a 1 on recently. Probably one of the fantastic retros that we did. Maybe forced it. Not sure.
Check out Patreon to find out. Yeah.
I didn't have my finger ready for the clip. I feel like it is better than some of those 1 out of 10s that I've seen lately, but also I'm probably gonna give this a 1 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so that would be a 2 out of 10. So there you go.
I like it. Nice.
20%.
That feels too high when you say it that way, actually. 20%.
I have to look at it because for me, it's definitely not. I know Taylor, you're gonna go. I'm gonna ask you the same question because I got Woody Woodpecker there. But do you guys like? Is this your worst film of the year so far?
Man, it's a hard battle for this and Web for me because Web.
Right, I forgot about.
I guess
Web.
I had more
Forgot that
enjoyment,
came
but
out
I
this
do
year.
think this is a better movie than Web. But even then, it's like we kind of just talked about how bad the plot and characters and writing are in this. So I don't even know anymore. It's not a great year for Sony movies. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. One of the Sony's movies is my
Yeah,
bottom
one of
one,
them
that's
getting
for
the
sure.
crown. I just love that too. Before you go, Taylor, we were like, well, there's not that much MCU stuff like Deadpool, Agatha. There's some other stuff. We're like, so we'll do like the Marvel Awards, right? Like we'll open it up, and it's like
They ain't
Madam
giving us
Web.
much.
Yeah, Madam Web. Like, let's hope Craven at least is just like a 6 out of 10. Like, are we gonna be able to get 3 best male actors in the Marvel Awards? Like, is there another show I'm missing for MCU that's come out this year?
Echo, start of the year.
Right, Echo. Okay, we got
How
Echo.
could you
So.
forget? Yeah. 97. That's where all the juice is gonna
Oh
come from.
right, yeah, we're good. We got Agatha 97 and Deadpool Wolverine. The 3 projects. So there we go. And maybe Craven. Hopefully, maybe Craven will be standout. We'll also be surprised. But Taylor, you get to end this off. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I am. I'm feeling optimistic on this, even though again, it's messy. It's not got great writing, but I enjoyed the action and I enjoyed other little things. But a big con for me too is, you guys already highlighted this, that yeah, he takes a risk when he's dancing in this Chang, goes full Venom suit. But that's really the only scenario where we get to see Eddie Brock in the actual suit, aside from like the dog scene at the start. But like, it would be, well, even then he wasn't really in the suit. He was just being like thrown around by the Venom limbs. So it just would have been cool to actually get him in the full body suit a little bit more. So that's a big con. What do you got?
Adding on to that, did not need to see Venom in suit riding a motorbike. It's just, I don't know. It's not the climactic end to eat. Like, this is like final hours of his life. You know, if we're never going to see Venom again, one of the final sequences he did was running away on a motorbike. And it just, I don't know. I'd rather like a symbiote horse, you know, or like a symbiote bike. Maybe.
You got that.
No, like for the final. Like,
I see.
I don't know. Just had to throw it out there.
It's Rex's horse. He doesn't come to work on a car or motorcycle. He's like, I got a horse back there.
Like, would I rewatch it again? Yes, but I need to answer your other question like from the start. Like, I obviously, if it's between this and Joker 2, I'd be going Joker 2 over this. I think I'm gonna go
Rex's horse.
Yeah, come on. I wanted to go a 5 out of 10, but I'm feeling like a 4 out of 10.
Oh. Okay. So you're going to rewatch the scene though it's a 4, hey? Because I feel like I don't rewatch too many like today I rewatched Smile because I watched Smile 2 and Yumi did not like that. So I was like, did I hate this as much? So sometimes I do test out movies I fail, but for
it's
you,
the thing
you were
where
pretty
like,
sure.
as you said earlier, like, oh yeah, I could just go on YouTube and just, you know, YouTube up some cool fight scenes from the movie instead of rewatching the whole thing. But I mean, I haven't gone back and rewatched the second one. I don't think I've at all gone back and rewatched the first one. So yeah, I'll go with a 4 out of 10. I think that'll just suit this rating for this film quite well.
And clearly it's not this, but not so you're not left out there, Taylor. What's your worst movie of the year before I hit end stream?
I checked my Letterboxd list and I have Rebel Moon Part 2 is my last.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Followed by Irish Wish.
Shooter!
Borderlands.
Shooter! Oh, Irish Wish.
Borderlands
Come
bottom
on.
3. Okay.
Irish Wish is better than bottom 3 now.
But this, sorry, Venom is above those 3. Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Jay?
Venom. I put Venom.
Do it.
Wow, that's a rough year for you, man.
Kill her. Oh my god, I forgot about that scene. Oh, but anyways,
It's been a long year. I feel like there's a lot of projects I kind of forgot came out this year.
Yeah, that's what happens these movies, you know. So
Dune came out this year.
You had it ready.
Wow, you had that ready to go. Man.
Do it. Do it.
it's probably there's only 3.
Do it, kill her.
Dylan, there's
Where's that from?
That's Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon Part 2.
And it's supposed to be this serious scene where they like quickly. It's only 30 seconds where Sophia Patel, main character, is a flashback, and they're telling her to kill this little girl. So clearly very dramatic. And you have this guy who's playing like the Emperor, and he's not a good actor. And it is just, and he's instructing her to, you know,
do it, kill her.
And that's a 3 but he keeps talking like that this whole time. So you're trying to like find the serious scene, and he's going off, and
you know
That's not
Zack
how he
Snyder was
normally
like,
sounds.
oh, this is a performance of a lifetime right here.
gotta have it there. But well, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. The Sony verse ends for now. Craven will be happening in December. These 3 boys, I can't remember what do we call you guys again? Names? Let me pull them up there. What were the
My God, what were we again?
The 3 of us?
We were the Master Cheeks or something like that.
Master
the Pablos?
the Pablos.
You guys are the Pablos. Yeah. We still need to find, as we said, a neat team name for me, Dylan, and Taylor, because we completely forgot about that. So next time we do a cast together, we'll figure that out. But until then, the Pablos will talk about Craven. Let us know, Discord, Patreon, wherever, what you thought about it, any theories about Rex, you know, love those. And until next time, and I'll be boring.
Bye.
Bye.